y'all, welcome to my channel, Beauty First in 10. I love makeup and I love football, so I combined the two into one channel. So if you're new to makeup and football or you're a pro, I hope you enjoy. Please hit the subscribe button down below to be notified of new videos, and also please hit the like button if you enjoy this video. So today we're going to be talking about makeup and how to pick safe ingredients and safe products for your makeup choices. And we're also going to be talking about NFL safeties, both the player and the play. But we'll start off with makeup. So oftentimes when you're looking at makeup products, they can have a lot of chemicals on the back of that product, right? You turn it over and there's a bunch of little print that you can't really read very well. And you're like, probably good, right? Well, oftentimes it's not. So some of the chemicals that are in things from face wash to foundation can be actually pretty harmful to the skin. They can clog pores and cause acne. They can cause hormonal disruptions, and they can even cause cancer with sustained use. And so when you're looking at all of that, you're like, well, how do I pick a good product? Well, there are some known ingredients that we know are always irritating to the skin. Things like fragrance, lemon and lime peel, orange peel, rose flower oil, all of those are very irritating, and also alcohol. Now, there are some good alcohols like cetyl alcohol, but if you see on the label alcohol or you see denatured alcohol, those are going to be harmful to the skin. Now, oftentimes they're going to mask these ingredients by using the scientific name of the product. So rather than using orange oil, they'll use the scientific name for that. That throws you off, right? Because it's not going to say orange oil and you're like, oh, okay, great, that's harmful. And then the other thing to keep in mind, if you open up a product and it smells amazing, it smells like you're walking through an orange grove that is just laden with roses and there maybe is a salt air coming at you, definitely do not put that on your face. There is a ton of fragrance that has been packed into that product to make it smell good, and it will only cause irritation. So I often hear from a lot of people and they'll say, every time I put on makeup, I break out and I get acne and my skin is really red. Well, the chances are that the reason that's occurring is because of the products you're choosing. And not just the price of the product will make a difference. So sometimes you think, oh, well, if it's more expensive, then clearly they're not doing that. And then this isn't cheap products. That is unfortunately not the case. Sometimes the more expensive the product, the more they want it to have that luxurious smell and, really be indulgent, and will pack a lot of that stuff in there. Whereas sometimes a lower price product will actually not have that. So how do we know how to pick good products for us? There are two easy ways to figure out if the makeup you're putting on is good for your skin or not. The first one is to go to Sephora.com. When you go to that website, you can select any product and you can see the ingredients that are in it. So you can look for some of those things that we talked about today, but you can also get a full list of everything that's in there. At this point, I've been looking at them for so long, over many years, that there's certain triggers like, I mentioned before that I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's not going to be good for my skin. But there's a lot of chemicals on there, and you don't need to have a scientific degree to figure out if they're good. So in this case, I've chosen Dr. Jarrett's Color Correcting Cream, and you're going to go down to the bottom where it says ingredients, and then you're going to copy and paste those words, and then you're going to go to another website that's called Beautypedia Skin Ingredient Checker. This is owned by the company Paula's Choice, and it's a service that they provide for you to check all of the ingredients that are in your product. Now, you can see here that you can attach a photo or you can cut and paste like you did here. And so then you hit the submit button and it will bring up a pie chart, and that pie chart will have a list of the ingredients that are in your product and rank them from best, good, average, worst, bad. And from there, you can kind of figure out if you want to buy that. So I've kind of reversed the order and gone worst to best. And you can see there's things like bergamot oil, eucalyptus oil, the lemon oil shows up. And then also pine oil. I don't know about you, but I've never walked through a forest and thought, wow, I really want to put pine needles all over my face. So again, some of this is intuitive, but they also will sometimes mask the name of the ingredient by using its scientific name. And so that will make it harder for you to tell that orange oil is in there, even though it is. Now, the other easy way to tell if a product is good is to go to the website, Sephora.com again. And in this case, we're going to pick my favorite moisturizer, which is Drunk Elephant's Proteiny Polypeptide Firming Cream. And when you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see a section that says Clean at Sephora. And that is a list of the ingredients. I've kind of put them up here that are harmful to the skin and known to cause a problem. And they will basically tell you by having that seal there that they don't have any of those ingredients. Now, you should still go to Beautypedia to double check all the ingredients because some are not on this list, but that's also a good, quick, easy way to figure it out. So I hope now everyone is going to go to their bathroom and check everything that they are currently using and see if it is good for their skin. And let's do some decluttering today. So the other thing we're going to talk about today from safe products is to safeties and the NFL. So there's the play and the position. We'll start out with the play. So there's a couple different ways that you can get a safety in the NFL. And the first one of those is when you have an offensive player that makes a penalty in the end zone. So we'll look at this video clip here. So in this one, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is making a pass and he's standing in the end zone. But the offensive lineman is going after one of the defensive linemen and he's grabbing that face mask and pulling his head to the side. Always a telltale sign that there's a face mask penalty is when somebody's face whips around to the other side. Well, that is a penalty. And so because there was a penalty in the end zone, 2 points is awarded to the defensive team, in this case, the New York Jets. Now, the second way you can get a safety is when the ball travels through the end zone and out either the sideline or the back of the end zone. And that can happen when it's carried that way, or if there's a fumble and the ball just kind of tumbles along and goes out the lines. So in this play, you can see here that the quarterback is kind of dancing around the end zone, which means he probably doesn't have anyone to pass it to. And he inadvertently steps outside of the end zone when he's making that pass. Well, that's also a safety because the ball has now traveled outside of the back of the end zone. Now, in this situation, they were probably pretty excited to just give 2 points to the defense because they intercepted it and got a touchdown, but that happened after the safety. So the safety is what actually worked in that situation, and the opposing team got 2 points. The third way that you can get a safety is if the person carrying the ball, whether that's the running back or the quarterback, gets tackled in the end zone. Then 2 points are awarded. So why is it called a safety? Well, back in the day, this was a play that was a really successful strategy for a lot of NFL teams. So when the league was just starting out, you would be backed up in your end zone and your choices were either to punt and maybe not get good field position, or you risked the issue of having a block punt because you didn't have a lot of room back there. And you could also get a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. None of those were great choices. And so they would take a knee in the end zone, essentially give 2 points to the opposing team. Now, after you get a safety, the ball is placed on the 25-yard line, which is obviously much further out of the end zone for you to kick from. So it gives you a little bit of breathing room to make a kick, and you can essentially do your punt from there. So that was a strategy that was used quite commonly back then. I think nowadays you'd be hard pressed to find a team that wants to give up 2 points just because, well, we're kind of worried we might make a mistake back there. Now, if you're the Carolina Panthers, this might be a strategy you still want to consider. But the other thing is the actual position, which is an NFL safety. So a safety is a player on the defensive side of the ball, and this person is usually lined up 10 to 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And that is where the ball is placed at to start. They are generally going to be the last line of defense from a big play occurring. So a pass that the quarterback throws to a running back that's running really fast, and could very well be a touchdown if it wasn't for this safety being kind of that safety net, hence the word safety. There's also kind of free safeties and strong safeties. And so a strong safety is usually at the front, closer to that line of scrimmage, and they're there to protect against a play that is going to be a run play. And then the free safety is usually a faster player, and they're that typical 10 to 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they're there to prevent a pass play. So that is everything you ever wanted to know about safeties and of the position. So I put a picture up here of kind of where they line up. And so you can see the free safety, FS, and the strong safety, SS. And so that's kind of their typical position in this formation. Okay, now to some NFL headlines. So there's a couple things. A little bit, of a stir was caused when Taylor Swift went to see the Kansas City Chiefs play, specifically Travis Kelce, which is the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, and kind of a star in his own right. So she sat with his mom in one of the press boxes and cheered for him every time. And then on top of that, they left the game together. They went to a team party. They drove off in a convertible. I'm not sure how that is safe for two megastars to just be sitting at a light next to all these fans. And so at the next game, there was tons of Taylor Swift fans that showed up because they wanted to see Taylor Swift and see her in the box. Now we have a lot of Taylor Swift fans that have become football fans. And there are Swiftie jerseys for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kelce jerseys are flying off the shelves. And so we still don't know if they're dating or if this is just a PR stunt. But either way, it's working and everybody's talking about it. Now, the other thing that was really fun this weekend is there was a number of players that did reverse plays. I've linked the one down below that I thought was the best, but there was actually a number of teams that did the same reverse play this week. It's great. I love when it works out, and it worked out for all three teams this weekend, so you can check that out. And then lastly, there's a term that we as Iowa State fans know, which is Brocktober. Brocktober is a term that was coined at Iowa State because Brock Purdy, who is now the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, but used to be on Iowa State, never lost in October, ever. And so we started just naming the month after him. And so it was really great. For Iowa State fans, we don't often see a lot of wins. And so having a quarterback that talented that just couldn't lose in October was great. So it'll be interesting now to see if Brocktober is something that will carry on in the NFL. The 49ers are definitely the team that can go undefeated in October and seem to look like they are probably the best team in the NFL. And I think right up there is probably the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. So keep an eye on all three teams because I think we're going to see them in the playoffs later this year. So keep in mind, if your ship is headed in the wrong direction, you can turn it around. You are the captain of your ship, and only you can make a different decision in your life. So thank you for joining me today, and please hit the subscribe button down below to be notified of new videos. If you like this video, please hit like. Please share, and we will grow this community of makeup and football enthusiasts. I've linked those plays down below, and I've also linked everything I'm wearing and that I have on my face today. I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me.